It's episode 126 of Gracefully and Frankly. I'm Erin Davis.
I'm Lisa Brandt, and I can see clearly now. The cataract is gone.
Oh, don't sing. Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. No, I like your singing. It's a good thing. It's joyful.
Oh, no, you're being kind. It's awful. I couldn't hit a note if it was on the broadside of a barn. Come on.
Well, here we are heading into the long May 2-4 weekend with Victoria Day actually falling on the 19th this year. And we've got a lot to get to, including my thanks, first of all, to Lisa's husband, Derek. I don't know if you've had cataract surgery and weren't able to let people know you were okay. Lisa had Derek, her secretary of sight, and he was just so wonderful at keeping me up to how your recovery was going. So,
well, good. I'm glad because the last thing I could see was my phone, and I wrote in a blog post this week about how I wished I had told people, because I'm always saying I don't like to talk on the phone. Everybody who knows me knows that, and it's mostly because of hearing aids and things like that, and being in a little recording studio. But that was the only thing I could do for sure because I knew where the little answer button came up. And so I could just press without even seeing it. But of course, hardly anybody called because they know I hate the phone. So there you go. But Derek was really good about keeping me up to date on messages from people and, of course, getting me coffee and helping me around. So it was pretty cool.
So tell us all about it.
All right. Well, it went like clockwork perfectly. I had no complaints, not a moment of pain, nothing. I had no anxiety, Erin, and I think that's mostly because so many people told me they'd had it done, and it was one of the best things they'd done. Recovery wasn't fun. The first couple days, not being able to see, was surprisingly emotional for me. It was difficult. Even though I knew it was going to happen, it was still difficult. What can I say about sight? It's pretty darn important, you know?
Yeah. So how long did the process take?
10 minutes for the right eye, a break to sterilize everything again for 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes for the left eye. That's it.
Wow.
And I got to meet with the surgeon beforehand and ask any questions. He's a rock star. I mean, in his world, he is Madonna. Well, maybe I've got a better example. Lady Gaga. But he was just great. And he kept congratulating me for a good job when everything went well. And I'm like, dude, I'm just lying here looking straight up like you asked me to. That's it.
Yeah, that's right. I've had plenty of honeymoons to practice this.
He was great. They were great. He credited the team for being great. I really had a good experience with it. So it's all coming along. It'll probably be a couple months before my sight is at full strength, but already I'm able to see myself in the mirror with no 3.25 magnifying glasses.
Is that a good thing? I need to know.
Well, here's the thing. I thought, oh no, my skin is going to look horrid. Now that I'm going to be able to see it, I don't want to look. And then I realized I've been looking in a 10 times magnifying mirror with 3.25 magnifying glasses.
Oh.
My skin looks like a baby's butt. It looks perfect to my eyesight because I'm not having to do all that magnification. So everything's fine.
So you're going to find those chin hairs on your own then?
Yeah, well, you can feel them, right? They're spiky.
Right. I heard somebody say the other day, remember back in the 80s and 90s when women plucked their eyebrows so thin and they never grew back? Why doesn't that work with our chins?
Why doesn't it work everywhere on the body? Right. Like if you shave your legs 3 times, the legs should understand, oh, she doesn't want that.
Exactly.
You know? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's because men run the world, Erin.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So much more money has been spent on Viagra research than endometriosis. Don't get us started.
Right.
But speaking of men running the world, it seems like a gender parity cabinet that we have in Canada now. Prime Minister Mark Carney announcing his cabinet last Tuesday, and no chair Pierre, of course, was right there complaining about the whole thing. But did you imagine, and of course I had this little moment where I was thinking of maybe running for MP here, which would have been stupid because I couldn't possibly have won against Elizabeth May. But what would you be the minister of, Lisa?
Is there a minister of sea salt air popped popcorn?
Don't mention popcorn to somebody who popped a veneer this week.
That's all I can think of. The rest of it I don't want to be involved with. What about you?
Well, for me, it would be the Secretary of Stupid. And that's not just the constituents, telling them to pipe down. You're not leaving. It would be just things that I do, and I could say, Madam Speaker or Mr. Speaker, I believe that something has to be done about coins in shopping carts. And here's why this is really important.
Okay.
Because, you know what? This past week, while you have been completely in my thoughts, my brain has obviously been with you and not doing what it should be in my head because I've done so many stupid things. Maybe it was the full flower moon. Lisa, I can't explain it, but we're going to go through a few of these things.
Okay, what have you done?
Well, went for groceries. We headed up island to a place called Courtney. Change of scenery. Hoped to see some whales because it was pretty close to where you and I went on a whale watching tour looking for humpbacks.
Yep.
Didn't see any. Saw herons and eagles and a couple of little deer. But we went away and we stopped in Nanaimo to get groceries. And so this is all like tick, tick, tick. The clock's running. The dogs are in the crate. Rob's in the car with them. I have to get in, get out, get back in the car. So I go and I know that the Great Canadian Superstore uses coins in carts. Okay, I've got $1 in my wallet. Great. I go, of course it's not a quarter anymore. It's how much?
A loonie?
Yes, a loonie.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to the car I run. So I dig out a loonie, go, put it in the cart, click, it's in. But I put it in the cart ahead of the one I wanted. So now I've got 2 carts chained together. 2 carts living in just one shop. Yeah. So I couldn't figure out how to get these 2 things apart. I had them shaped out like a V in the middle of the parking lot. I am not figuring this out.
Oh, no.
So like somebody who knows when to cut their losses, if they can't cut a chain, I went back to the car, found another loonie, took the first one and thought, have a great day, whoever finds the next one. It'll feel like winning the lottery.
That's funny. Yeah.
Who doesn't know how to put a coin in a grocery cart?
You? Here's the
Yeah.
thing. You need little T-Rex arms like me, and then you can only reach to the next one. You've got nice, long arms.
Oh, you're making me feel better. And I'm going to need more of this because
Okay.
there are more things that people do intuitively. And I go, how do you know how to do this? Like, do you ever go into a casino and everybody's sitting there playing the slot machines? Everybody plays the slot machines. I can't figure out slot machine games. I know you put money in, and then I know something happens, but if it goes into a bonus thing, I don't know what's happening. And I sit there like a goat staring at thunder, and I go, okay, what's happening? And so I'm sure I miss out on all these levels of picking and choosing and hitting and smacking. No, that's why I can't do slot machines.
Oh, wow.
What can other people do that you just can't get a handle on?
I get intimidated by a different building that I'm in. Like,
Oh,
for example, this is ridiculous. Okay, Minister of Stupid, I'm one of your constituents.
welcome.
Yes, thank you. My doctor moved a year and a half ago, and I still check the directory to make sure I know what floor I'm going to. Because I went to the old building for a decade, and it was just like an old house that was renovated. And this is a building with lots of floors. And I know where she is, and I know everything about it, but I still stop and check. It's just from having been lost in buildings before.
That makes sense.
Does it?
Well, especially if it's the doctor you farted around in the show last week. She moved and didn't tell you. That's the whole thing there.
Oh.
I get that.
Speaking of shopping, there's a Shoppers Drug Mart in London, close to Byron. Mm-hmm. And the first time I went in it, again, it's an unfamiliar layout. It's not like all the other Shoppers. It's a little smaller. I couldn't figure out how to leave.
Oh, that's just what they want.
Well, here's what had happened was the sliding door had stuck open. And so it said, do not enter. And that was the only way to get out. Yeah, they think I'm pretty dumb there. So I don't go back.
The exit at Shoppers Drug Mart is usually near the self-checkout. That's where you'll find me, Secretary of Stupid, panicking when I have to do self-checkout.
I don't think you're alone. I don't think you're alone at all.
I want to do it quickly. I want to let the person behind me in. And also, too, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that somebody has just bought her latest eyeliner, is saying, oh, stupid boomer.
Yeah, they do that, don't they?
Yeah. So that's another thing. It's the intimidation. And invariably, Lisa, if I have to get groceries, somebody is going to have to come and help me. Now, fortunately, the last time this happened, also last week at the superstore, there was another guy who was trying to weigh a, I don't know, kumquat, and he couldn't get it. And I was being told I couldn't register something, so I wasn't alone. And, of course, we laughed, and I said, it's always great till it doesn't work, and we laughed.
Well, this is why they have an attendant there, though, because the thing is not dependable, and it does make mistakes, and it does get confusing. And we never used to be able to put in a coupon, for example. If it says 60% off, pull this coupon off, we used to have to call somebody. Now, apparently, we can do it on our own. Oh, yeah? How? Oh, just look up the 60% off and scan this. And it's not you. I think it's them this time.
Oh, thank you. It's really hard shopping with someone who's like a millennial. I've gone out with my daughter-in-law, and I can hear her behind me rolling her eyes. So there's that kind of intimidation that happens there as well.
You know what I think when something like that happens?
What?
She'll get there one day if she's lucky. It may take 40 years for her to understand, but she'll get there.
You know what that generation won't be doing? Digging through a change purse.
True.
Now, I know that this ticks off a lot of people standing in a long line, and I will always let somebody with one or two items behind me go ahead.
Same, yeah.
It's just you're probably in a hurry to get home to your kids or whatever. But the one thing that comes up again and again in these threads about what do other shoppers do that drives you crazy, it's standing there with a change purse. Because so many of us are money free now, right? We tap, swipe, and do all that.
But you know what they don't get in that change purse? They don't get what my mom had in hers, which was bits of tobacco and half a stick of gum and an old Roll-Aid, probably a zipper that fell off of a coat. So, yeah, all that stuff. What is the most random thing you have in your purse? Mine is gel earplugs that have already been used. So they're collecting all the little bits of pepper from my pepper grinder, which is also in my purse. Yes, your pepper grinder has come in handy many times, so I've seen it.
Yeah, and I got pulled over last time I flew to Ottawa, too. And it was a plastic one. Like, take it. It's not even the good steel one. It's not like it's a sex toy. Oh, I heard this great joke from Joan Rivers. There was a special on NBC this week. I hope you caught it. And if you didn't, look for it on Peacock if you subscribe. She said she was so ugly that her vibrator deserved the Purple Heart.
That's good.
Isn't it?
Wow, a Joan Rivers joke I haven't heard. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
So the thing in my purse is a pepper grinder. What is your bizarre thing?
Let me think for a second. Probably my purse hanger. That's the only thing I can think of because it's a little metal disc with a hook on it, and it's broken now. So I have to find both pieces of it and put it together, and then I can hang my purse off the table when I'm in a restaurant.
Well, next time I see you, I'll give you mine. My mother gave me one. I never use it. I put my purse on the floor because you know me, I don't care. And you can have mine and think of me. And I'll stick googly eyes on it because that's what Lisa does. She leaves googly eyes on things so that I'll find them later, which I just did last week.
And that was from when we were in California.
Yeah.
I was waiting in the car for you somewhere just for a minute. I forget. And I stuck a couple of googly eyes on sunscreen and shoved it back in the glove box. So
yeah, and I found them.
Good.
I always think of you. Yeah. A lot of people are doing cleanup this weekend, really digging in, and that can mean trips to the dump. And you have one more story for the Secretary of Stupid. You have the floor about a dump story. What?
Oh, my goodness. Again, it's going into someplace unfamiliar. I really like to know where I'm going before I go. That's why I love GPS. And I went to the dump one day, you know, the landfill, and it's like batteries over here and paint's over here, and you drop your whatever over here. And the guy said, oh, yeah, you have an old appliance. It goes in that bin right there. So I pull up beside this dumpster, and the lid of the thing must be 25 feet above me. And I'm looking back at the guy, and he's looking out the window, which I realize now was to see the stupidest woman he'd seen that week. And I get out, and I'm like a little cartoon character with steam coming out of my ears. And I say, how the hell am I supposed to get it up inside there? And he goes, you follow the road, and it ends up beside it.
Oh, geez.
So all I had to do was pull up and do a hairpin turn, and the opening of the dumpster was level with the ground. And then I put the appliance in it. But no, here I am below it going, what the hell is this? Yeah. So
you're Yosemite Sam in that moment if you'd had 6 shooters going off on both sides, right?
Pew, pew, pew.
I'm the hootin'est, tootin'est, shootin'est, bobtail wildcat in the West.
That was funny.
So what happens in your lovely bucolic town of Port Stanley on the first unofficial long weekend of summer, Lisa?
There are all sorts of things going on to get people into our markets, and there's a cheesecake and something going on, all sorts of little things, and there'll be sales at the stores and stuff. So it's been packed here. Every nice weekend we've had so far in May, so we expect the long weekend to be really busy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be nice to see your town spring back to life for the season. I'm sure it feels just as good as seeing those first lilacs in bloom or the tulips and crocuses in your gardens.
Or as Derek says, our ditch lilies. We have daylilies that he got from someone's ditch, and so he calls them ditch lilies.
Oh, that's a great band name.
Yeah.
A lot of people on the long weekend decide to just get out, go away. For some who live in cities and don't have cars, it could mean renting a car for the weekend. And maybe you're among them as you listen to this. So glad to be keeping you company in the car. But something occurred to me, Lisa, as we were charging our EV up near Campbell River last weekend. And that is, why do cars have gas tanks on different sides of the cars? And we're not asking how do you tell, because we know it's that little arrow with the little gas tank that's on the readout near your steering wheel that points left or points right to let us know. But why do cars have gas tanks on different sides? Why isn't it left or why isn't it right?
I always thought it was just because of the design of the car where they ended up putting the gas tank. Is that too simple?
Probably.
Okay.
So here's the reason, and it all comes down to basic science and equilibrium. Now, it started out for way different reasons than it still exists. There was this researcher who says it's because in Canada and other countries where we drive on the right side of the road, it's often easier for us to turn right than to turn left across oncoming traffic, right?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So most of us would buy gas at stations where we could enter by turning right. But suppose gas tanks were always on the driver's side of the car. Then we'd all have to park on the right side of an open pump in order to fill our tanks. And when it's crowded, all the spots on the right sides would be filled and the spots on the left would stay empty. So putting fuel filler doors on different sides of different cars means that some cars can access from the left, and it makes it way less likely that drivers will have to wait in line for gas. They figure that way outweighs the inconvenience of a rental car driver or a wife who doesn't pay attention, just pulling up on the wrong side.
Interesting. I had no idea. That makes perfect sense. So I wonder if they sort of have an agreement between car manufacturers. Okay, we're going to put out the Ford Blue, and it's going to have something on the right. Oh.
Yeah, but all EVs have to be lefties.
Right.
I didn't check in with you this week on one thing. I'm so glad to hear that your cataract surgery went beautifully, and I know Rob and I are both looking forward to our appointment to find out what can be done for us. I don't have any yet, but he has the beginnings, and it may save his hockey career if he gets this surgery. So I do know that went well for you. What I forgot to ask, and I'm sorry we're like about 20 minutes in now already, were you gifted a $400 million jet this week by any chance?
No, I was offered one and said I didn't think it was appropriate, so I sent it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You?
No, because I'm Secretary of Stupid now in the cabinet, and, even the smell of impropriety is just not going to do it here. But that thing is going to be so full of listening devices and bugs and decoys so that they think they got the bugs and the bugs are still there. I think they should call it Infest 1. Yeah.
Works for me.
I'd love if it was real bugs. In what world is this okay? It's just, we're in the upside down. And if there was any justice, so would the plane be. But anyhow.
Well, you know, even we come from a world where we were offered gifts often. But when I was in news, I was never allowed to accept a gift because then it was the same thing. It seemed like somebody was bribing me to, you know, what if their company came up in a story and would I look more favorably on it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I heard of people over the years who did stuff like that, but I always envied your envy pillow until you gifted me an envy pillow, and then I had one of my own, and I wasn't hinting for one, but you read my thoughts and read my neck, I guess.
Well, I think it came up because I must have been one day, one of my partners asked me why I couldn't turn my head, and I couldn't just come out and say, it's because you cause me stress, you ass. But then they sent me this envy pillow, and I thought, oh, my God, they're going to expect a mention. Little did I know, I didn't give them the mention then because they didn't buy advertising on the station. I mean, it was just a hard and fast rule, although so many DJs gave those stupid donuts that come in the big flat. They gave them mentions all the time and said, oh, there's such and such donuts in the newsroom.
Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, okay, you said it. I wasn't going to, but I hear you. Yeah. They never bought a minute of advertising, Lisa.
No, neither did Amazon or anybody else.
So I never mentioned Envy Pillow, and yet here we are, and they became sponsors of this podcast. They sponsor my Drift with Aaron Davis sleep stories, and they have just turned out to be the best partners.
And they have the best product because we both still, and I mean, we're talking...
Well over a decade. Yeah, long time.
Yeah, and we both still use them, still talk about them, encourage other people to try it out. It's just who we are and who they are, and full of integrity, and they just have a wonderful patented design that is approved by Health Canada. What more can you say?
Find out more at ENVY, pillow.com, and be sure and use the code GF for 10% off. Integrity is just so important to their brand, to our brand, because as you know, you can work your whole career and then do something stupid and lose it all, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what accepting this $500 million jet is going to do for Trump's integrity.
Oh.
Sorry, that plane has already left the terminal.
That's right.
But we're talking integrity with Sierra Sil as well, these all-natural anti-inflammatory capsules. And I have to tell you, I was talking to my sister Leslie this week, and she said, hey, can I get some free Sierra Sil since they're your sponsor? And I went, did you see the 20% off that they had last weekend for Mother's Day? And she said no, because I told you she started using the curcumin, the orange label, the gold label. She said, no, I want to see if it works. And so I said to her, well, you've been taking it for about 2 weeks now. How do you feel? And she has just had knee surgery, right? So much pain in her knee. And ideally, you start taking these before you need surgery or while you're waiting for it. And I said, well, are they working for you? And she said, well, I think so, but it could be my physio. It could be time. And I said, okay, stop taking them. I mean, who tells someone not to take their client's product? But I said, stop taking them and then let me know in a couple of days. It's the best way, Lisa, I swear to you, to figure out if Sierra Sil lives up to its promise that you will feel a difference in 14 days or your money back. And here's where you can find out more about it.
Go to sierrasil.com, Sierra like the mountains, SIL.com, and use the code GF and you'll get 14% off your purchase.
I should say that Sierra Sil also has something for dogs, and we always want the best for our dogs, right? And cats.
Oh, yeah.
We love our dog walks so much because for them, every day is a new adventure.
Well, there are a lot of people who look at the dog walk as a chore that they have to get through, right? And came across this essay written by a behavior veterinarian. So she's basically a doggy psychologist.
I love it.
Sure, why not? And, I love dogs too. I just don't have one right now. So we perceive the world mainly through sight, of course, and dogs through smell. Everybody knows that. Their noses are so sensitive. So she says that taking your dog on a walk and letting it sniff what it wants to, even for just part of the walk, just not yanking it back and just letting it read the area is like a combination of yoga, doing Sudoku, and reading your DMs.
Wow.
They catch up on gossip. They get all the news. They're doing little puzzles in their mind. And the other thing is she finds that a lot of dogs with behavior problems are the dogs that aren't walked and aren't allowed to do the sniffing because it enriches their lives and they're not getting that stimulation for their brain.
Wow.
With all the different smells.
Oh.
And another woman asked this doctor, if I let my dog go ahead of me and sniff, not pull on the leash, but just, maybe one of those retractable leashes, am I letting the dog feel that it's dominant over me? And this behavior psychologist, doggy veterinarian said that way of thinking came out 80 years ago and was debunked 60 years ago, but it still is pervasive. People think the dog being off the lead and being ahead of them gives them some sort of idea that they're the head of the pack. And she said they're not going to forget that you're the head of the pack. That's not it at all. So it doesn't even have to be the hold walk. Just let the dog sniff and get the news. We always say to Cuddles, Cuddles is a cat, of course, but we open the patio door with the screen closed and say, do you want to read the news, little buddy?
Sure. Literal Twitter.
It is, really. And it's very, very important to them. So every time I see somebody just sort of yank on their dog because they want to sniff. And the other thing is they're sniffing sometimes because they're picking a place to do what you want them to do anyway.
Yeah, let your dog sniff. I love that.
Do you remember that song by the Bellamy Brothers? And let your dog sniff
on the sidewalk and road and let your... Anyway.
When you're so far from home.
Yeah. Well, this seems like a good time to take a break for a phone call. What do you think?
Yes, great idea. We talked about fart walking in the last episode, 125, and it really hit home for Shirley.
Yeah, sure did.
I was at a technician's yesterday to get an ultrasound on my heel, and I'm lying on my stomach, as you have to do, and the technician is down pretty close to my nether region with his face, because that's what he has to do when he's doing the ultrasound. And I had had some prune juice before I left with breakfast. Anyway, all of a sudden my stomach starts, the growling and the noises like you wouldn't believe, and I'm thinking, oh, please don't let it happen. Because usually what happens after that is some wind escapes, and it's normally not pretty. Anyway, I thought, what would I tell him if it did happen? Thankfully, it didn't. But I think I would just say to him, as my wise nanny used to say, wherever you be, let your wind blow free.
I love that. Wherever you be, let your wind blow free.
Now, Shirley left us a message on Facebook Messenger, which is fine, but it's so much better, please, to go to our Gracefully and Frankly website and just send us a voice message through there. It's gracefullyandfrankly.com. Comes right to our inbox, ready to go. All you do is click on the little microphone at the bottom right, tell us what your name is, and fire it off, and we're good to go. We love to hear from you.
Yeah, and where you're from. We love that connection across the country as well.
For sure.
And there is a 2-minute limit. If it goes long, just do it again. Do another one or do a shorter version, just whatever you want. We are so grateful to have you taking part in this show because you're as big a part of it as we are every step of the way. You know what I'm not doing this long weekend, Lisa?
I have no idea.
I am not reading book 2 of the Felicity and Mitzi series because I've read book 2. It's not out yet. It is not even hot off the presses. It's still batter, but it is so good. And I'm really, really hoping that people will take a minute and download your first book for this long weekend. So give us all the deets and don't be shy.
You know what's funny is hearing you say that you enjoyed it is just the absolute best because I always want you to be proud of what I do, and you just never know. Yeah, so it's called Pieces of Us, Felicity and Mitzi, Book 1. And it's available for Kindle, Kobo. It's available on my website if you want a paperback copy, voiceoflisabrandt.com. And you'll see the store and books. I shipped a whole bunch of them out as soon as I could see again, and I was so thrilled, yeah. I'm just loving the feedback I'm getting. People are telling me that they're enjoying it and looking forward to the next book, and it's a whole new world for me. Writing fiction is just brand new, and I absolutely couldn't be happier.
Great, and now you're just tearing away at book 3. I was reading a list of rules of Stoicism today, and one of them was enjoy the process, not the outcome. Are you?
Yes.
Are you enjoying the process? And of course, the outcome, we hope, is that it's a tremendous success, and all of the books in this trilogy will be. But how's the process for you?
I love it. I can't tell you how much I love it. And I remember saying specifically to Derek, once I get the stones, the ovaries, to push publish, it's out of my hands. The work and the fun and the love is all up till that point. After that, I have no business hoping, thinking, or anything.
Right.
But, the doing of it, Erin, I love so much. I love it.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I am so proud of you and so enjoyed book 1. There could have been a little less group sex. That's only...
Yeah, Caligula, Volume 1.
Yes.
No, it's not. No, don't
there's
let
not.
her tell you that.
I'm kidding. It is all... It gets a little steamy, but it doesn't cross any lines. And hopefully that's kind of the story of our podcast as well. But get into a new book to kick off the long weekend. What could be better? I know our weather here on southern Vancouver Island is looking kind of meh. It's Victoria Day. Do it for Victoria. So whatever you're doing, take Lisa along.
Thank you. It's supposed to be nice here. We're expecting a really big weekend. I think we're going to take a road trip, just a little one, a day trip. For some reason, this winter felt very, very long. Or maybe it's because we're coming up on fewer summer. I don't know what it is, Erin.
Memento mori. That's another stoicism. Think about your mortality every day. And here's one to leave you with that's very cheery. Live your life as though you died and came back.
Oh.
Yeah, and like not as a flower or a $400 million jet, but if you came back as yourself and you had a second lease on life, what would you do with it?
Wow, that's fascinating. And that's a lot better than my friend Ed's comment, which is always live every day like it's your last and one day you'll be right.
Well, that's true, too.
I know, it's true, but I like yours better.
Thanks for introducing me to Stoicism. Thanks for introducing me to your fictional side. And thank you for listening to Gracefully and Frankly. We couldn't and wouldn't do it without you. We're so grateful. And if you have some time to fill this weekend, go to our gracefullyandfrankly.com page. Take a look at our Queenager t-shirts. Maybe this is the summer you let your inner Queenager fly.
Fly, Queenager, fly.
Have a wonderful weekend. So glad that you're seeing so well and that you didn't break into Jimmy Cliff. We're just so grateful.
Thank you very much. Besides, I would have done the original, which is Johnny Nash. So there you go.
Oh, you smarty. All right.
Bye.
Bye.